Hey everybody, Renfail here from No Man's Skyland today, and I wanted to get everybody up to speed on the catalog and guide, which for me as a brand new player has been absolutely invaluable to my exploration of the star systems around my home planet, my base planet, the initial starter games. I'm closing in on 50 hours of the game, and so much of everything that I need to know is located here in the catalog and guide. So, if you're a new player coming to this game for the first time, like I am, I kind of want to go over this because there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Not all of it is explained through the tutorial onboarding process. This is a lot of trial and error, finding things out, and the community being super helpful at pointing me in the right direction and telling me, hey, did you know you could do this? Did you know you could check this? I'm probably going to miss some things in this little guide, so feel free to drop things down in the comments below if it's something that I missed. If you're a veteran player and you've got some more to contribute, I would love to hear it because eventually I will put out an ultimate beginner's guide from one beginner to another. But in the meantime, we're doing these little guides to get up to that point. So without further ado, let me minimize myself on screen and come over here and talk more about the catalog and guide. So I briefly mentioned this in one of my very first videos I did about No Man's Sky, that once you come into the catalog and guide section, um, this guide part in particular, for those of you who forget the things they tell you how to do in the dozens of tutorials that you're going to come across in this game, you can click on this guide section and it's going to put you here, and you're going to get all the categories of tutorials that the game has given you. So this is where you can go back and re-watch little things, or reread, I should say, the things like survival basics, like getting started in survival, right? And then the navigation basics, and then what's hazard protection? How does that work? How does life support work? The multi-tool, how does this work? There's also all this stuff on getting around, like everything you need to do in the game, there's going to be a tutorial for it. The problem is, as you can see, there are dozens, because each one of these categories can be broken down into 6, 8, maybe more. I don't know. I'm close to 50 hours into the game, and they still keep throwing all sorts of stuff at me, and I'm constantly sort of being overwhelmed by the amount of knowledge. So it's like, okay, that's cool. I do that thing for 15 minutes, then I get sidetracked. I go over and I do something for the next 2 hours with the stream, and then tomorrow when I come back, that tutorial that they showed me yesterday for 15 minutes or whatever, I don't remember any of that, so I can come back into the guides section of the catalog and guide, and I can quickly find all of the tutorials that help me remember what I needed to do. You know, it talks about, how to like feed and tame creatures. This was something we did the other day. But like, especially with survival basics, it goes in here and it tells you everything about like the fact that you need to use your scanner a lot. You're going to need technology immersions. You're going to have to get things to build other things. They talk about the construction component and how to build bases, and the fact that you can have portable technology, and the fact that you're going to have to power the base. And everything's here. If you get lost, if you get confused, come back to the guide section of the catalog and guide. It's right here at the top left. It's an incredible resource. After that is the journey milestones, which can be handy if you're trying to get up to speed with and remember some of the things you've done along the way. So these kind of, I think they just cycle through. So you can just click on one of these, and what it's going to do is it's going to bring you into this exploration milestone window with all of the different milestones that you, I think, can get or have gotten, but it's broken down into the categories of like exploration, survival, previous expeditions, the different races, the Vek, the Vikine, the Korvax, and then the different factions. And if you go into here, it shows you all the things that you've done and things that you could do. So I haven't done any missions for any of these like people yet. And then the Korvax, like what's your standing with these? I'm a total of 7 with those guys, 21 with these, 12 with these. Any expeditions you've done, which I have not, and there's been a whole bunch of expeditions that have come out in the game. Survival milestones, which this is related to how far you've traveled, like and survived in the world. So units accrued, exploration, time survived on different planets, sentinels destroyed, ships destroyed, and then you have the explorations one. Now, I've also learned that there are some things in the game that are tied to you completing certain milestones. So as an example, um, to get the, I think it was called Dreams of the Deep quest, which was to get all the Nautilin and all the underwater stuff, you had to have made 40 jumps, which I think was the journeyman. It was part of the journeyman exploration, I think, the space exploration one. Once you crossed 40, the next jump you did, the quest popped up. So there are certain triggers and things in the game that require you have done a certain amount of things before you can get to the next part of the game. That's a really cool aspect of exploration in this game because you can continually find things. You're always pushing for the next level and go from there. Now, over here in the catalog, we have your total blueprints known, collected knowledge you've come from stories and language, the wonders you've recorded, recipes, building parts. And this, for me, has been one of the most impressive things in terms of helping me navigate because there are probably hundreds, but I'm going to say dozens of planet types. Desert planets, windy planets, grassy planets. I really don't know how many planets there are, guys. So someone can, if someone has an actual number on that, drop that down in the comments below. But I have seen dozens of planet types. I think, like I said, paradise planets, ice planets, barren planets, hot planets. You know, there's all these different types of planets, and many of them have like shared or similar resources, like raw materials and things of that nature, but it's different in every place. And sometimes you'll get a quest that wants you to go get something that you don't have. Like maybe you harvested some of it before, but you don't have any of it now. If you've already discovered something, you can quickly go in here and find it, like on the list, right? And say, I want to find, as an example, let's find dioxite. It says here it's a local mineral or extract typically found in large deposits or extracted from common minerals on a frozen environment. So I would click this, and it would say over here, dioxide-rich planet detected. Launch into space to scan planets for materials. So in this case, I would go to my ship, we would launch into space, we would scan the planets, it would show us the ones that have the dioxide, we would fly to that planet, we would land on that planet, and then we can use the scanner and we can scan for that resource, specifically for that resource, and it gives you waypoints and highlights, so you don't have to go like trying to figure out where is it going to be. It's going to give you tips and guidelines on how to find those resources and highlights on the screen and everything else. However, worth noting is that you must first have uncovered something, discovered it for the first time, for it to actually let you track it. So you see there's question marks here. These are empty things that I haven't found yet that the game is telling me. These are the ones you've seen, these are the ones you haven't seen. So when you find one that you haven't ever seen before or haven't ever harvested before, if it's not on your planet, you will be prompted to go into space and go find it. Once you get to the planet where it's located, you could do a scan, you'll highlight it. Once you do that, you can then go get it harvested. It will then show up here in your categories section of the guide related to all of your materials and items. Once it's in here, once you've explored it and seen it, you can then go find it again and track it using this. So all you need to do is hover over one of these, and you're going to notice where it says locate substance. So this is the only thing you need to know. This will tell you general information about where something can be found. But once you have found something, you can then come back and easily find it. This has been a lifesaver for me because you come across so many things, and I'm doing so many different things at once. We're doing base building, ship building, parts building, expanding the exosuit, expanding the multi-tool, expanding the freighter, expanding blah, 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 blah. I'm always being told to harvest different materials, whether it's for warp fuel or for this, that, and the other. I haven't set up harvesters yet, so that's another aspect of the game, which we'll get to eventually, and I'll probably have to do a little bit less of this. But this, just for finding raw materials, exotic core, fuel and utilities, and then plants. This has been very, very useful for me to find the different things that I need to harvest, mine, interact with, whatever, to get the resources I need for crafting. It's a big, big boon. And of course, you can go through all the different things here. But this is the catalog and guides section of No Man's Sky. And again, as one new player to another, if you're just getting going in this game, This has been probably my number one resource outside of the community, because anytime I get confused on something, like I forget where to find it or I forget a tutorial or something, I can jump in here, quickly find it. It's a great resource. Highly recommend that you use this if you haven't been using it as a new player. Don't forget about this. Don't sleep on it. Daily streams here and on Twitch at 11 a.m. Central, and I also stream in the afternoons and evenings as well a few times a week. So make sure to follow along here and on Twitch to get updates for all the things, all the time I'm live. Don't forget the socials, Discord, Patreon, and I'll see everybody in the next one. Stay safe and happy gaming, everybody.